Listen to me. Almost the study material is ready. Very few chapters are left out. By Monday or Tuesday, you will get it all. Whatever are ready, I will share it right now. Not right now. I will share you in the afternoon time to all of you individually. Okay. So I think almost is done. Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all are done. So now in this particular class, I will just explain to all of you how to study the study material chapter wise. Very quickly I will tell to all of you, because most of the students are having a lot of confusion about studying the study material. Okay, chapter wise I will explain you, including unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can't explain everything in this particular unit class. Only in 2 to 3 classes I'll very quickly explain you how to read it. Okay, so every one of you please look into the unit 5. Okay, from the unit 5, how many marks we can expect in the JL or the DL? Minimum 10 and maximum 15 questions that we can expect from this particular unit 5. And remember everyone, this is among all the 10 units, among all the 10 units, unit 5 is one of the unit where you have to read maximum amount of information. Instead of reading, I can say to all of you that maximum amount of the information to be remembered actually in the unit 5. You all people studied in the MSc level, and some of you teaching the same concept also, but they have not mentioned each and everything here. They have mentioned specific information or the precise information. So I will provide you the study material exactly along with the syllabus. Good morning. Please make sure that your audio and video are turned off. Or please don't make any disturb in the middle of the class, please. Okay. Now all the students listen to me correctly. So all of you listen. Plant resource utilization and conservation. And friends, this particular unit is divided into ex situ conservation, in situ conservation, role of plants in medicine. And whenever they are explaining the role of plants in medicine, they have not they are not asking all the plants. They are just asking morphology, active principle, and medicinal value of only the 4 plants they have given very specifically. And see here, here they have asked just 4 medicinal plant, but here you see this. Here once again they have asked origin, evolution, cultivation, and uses of just they have given medicinal and aromatic plants. Here you have to read almost all the plants, but which are more important, we have to study fiber crops, fodder crops, as well as the vegetable oil yielding crops. And here you have to read the most important ones, non-wood forest products. Okay, now listen, I will assign some small work to all of you also. Just listen to me correctly. So there are 10 to 15 questions will appear from this particular unit 5. Of course, from every unit. See, in your core paper, you are having 150 questions, which means that from every chapter, you are having an equal distribution. Mostly. But 1 or 2 questions will be varied from chapter to chapter. Okay, suppose example, cytogenetics, you may get more questions. Plant physiology, you may get more questions. Plant anatomy and embryology, you may get more questions. But on average, you can get a 10 to 15 questions from every unit. Suppose in the unit 5, if I am saying you will get a 10 to 15 questions, all of you listen. You are going to get minimum 4 to 7 questions, not 1 or 2. All of you listen to me correctly. Minimum 4 to 7 questions you are going to get from in situ conservation and ex situ conservation only. Okay. So now in the in situ conservation, what you have to read? Listen, all of you. In the syllabus, they are very specially mentioned. What are the international efforts for protecting the in situ conservation? What are the Indian efforts also? So you have to read international efforts, you have to read the Indian initiative. Then followed by, they have clearly mentioned sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserves, wetland, mangroves, coral reef. So listen. So anyway, I will give you the entire study material to all of you. Don't worry. So look into this. We have prepared the complete study material for most of the units. Now, remember everyone, you people no need to touch anything. Don't touch anything. Just keep the PPT and read the study material. There is no point of touching anything. Okay. Out of 150 questions, if you read the study material very correctly, you can get 140 questions very easily from here only. Okay. So now listen. Now let's talk. If you look into our syllabus, first international and Indian initiative. See, according to the syllabus, we made exact material. Then just make use of it. Now listen. First, I will explain. Then I will assign a small work. Just try to understand. As I am telling you once again, in this particular chapter, most of the information you have to remember for the exam. So first is the international efforts. So what you have to remember here, you have to remember what are the international seminars or what are the international conferences or the international organizations which held and which will protect all these biodiversity hotspots. All of you has to remember this compulsory. So the number one convention, World Heritage Convention, then IUCN program, World Convention on International Trade, Convention on Biological Diversity, International Treaty for Plant Genetic Research, Ramsar Convention, and Convention of Migratory Species. I don't know what you do. You have to compulsory remember. You can make the notes. I will tell you. However you do. If you can't make the notes also, no problem. Just read the seven. The seven international organization and which year they are established. What is their function? That's all. These are all what? Seven international organization. Then the next one, what are the national developments? What the India has done for the biodiversity conservation. India also has done many programs. Among those, first one is called Project Tiger. You have to remember when the Project Tiger launched, which year, and what is the aim. First one. Then India launched Project Elephant. Which year Project Elephant is launched and what is the aim? India launched Line Project. Which year India launched Line Project? What is the function? Crocodile Conservation Project. When the India launched the Crocodile Conservation Project, what is the aim? That's all. These are the one which is done by the India, and these are all the international efforts done by the international organization. So to help you, I just kept in this particular table. This is what international organizations done all this. If you read this also enough. If you read this also enough. But you have to read this compulsory. Then you only look into this. So remember, I'm telling you what exactly you have to read in the in situ conservation. First table compulsory. Then followed by this is the second table, most important table. The total number of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, wetlands, mangrove, coral reef. So this is what exactly given in the syllabus. National park, biosphere reserve, wetland, mangrove, coral reef sanctuaries. Only these six were asked in our syllabus specifically. So now here it is difficult because you can't remember all. So in order to help you, I just made exact number of each and every protected area. So for 6 protected areas, you have to read along with our syllabus. So I made 6 tables. So you no need to do anything. You have to by heart this particular 6 tables compulsory. Okay, now listen to me very correctly. When you are reading the wildlife sanctuary, friends, first of all the students remember in a simple words. Very simple. What is the definition of the wildlife sanctuary? First point. Then the second, just remember the major wildlife sanctuaries in India. and which state it is located. Nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. What are the major wildlife sanctuaries in India and in which state it is located? Where you can expect a 100% one question. Then same, national parks. What are national park? They will comes under which category of IUCN? So remember, national parks will comes under the category of IUCN 2. And what you have to remember, this table. The top 10 national parks, which state they are located, and the prominent animal present over there. That's all. Nothing else to be studied. Then same, biosphere reserve. What are biosphere reserve? They comes under which category of the IUCN? Who started biosphere? I mean to say, biosphere reserves comes under which program? It is called Man and Biosphere Program. And what are the 3 zones of biosphere reserve? Then list of the biosphere reserves present in India. Here you no need to remember the year also. No need to remember the year also. List of biosphere reserves located in the which state? Done. Then followed by wetlands. When you are reading the wetlands, compulsory remember, compulsory. What is Ramsar Convention? Which year Ramsar Convention is started? What is the aim? Nothing else. Please mute your mics. What is Ramsar Convention? Which year it is started? And what is the aim? Then followed by the 5 major wetlands I just mentioned here. These are all the 5 major wetlands. Nothing else to remember. See here, and these are all the famous wetlands in India. The same thing here I have mentioned in the form of a table. So this table also you have to remember. Same, what are mangroves and the mangroves present in India? What are coral reefs? Some of the famous coral reefs present in India. So friends, total what you have to remember. Okay, just listen. See, if you don't have the time to make the chart, no need to make any kind of a chart. What you have to remember, you don't need to make the charts also. I only made the tables. You have to just by heart the tables. There is no point of using your brain to study this. There is no concept at all. Please mute your mics. You have to just by heart it correctly. So first, most important one, make the list of, you no need to make the list, but if you make one small list for your understanding, for your remembering, that is really good. Remember the 7 international organizations and remember the Indian acts. So these are all the Indian initiatives. These are all the international initiatives, only names. Then followed by most important, the total number of protected areas in India. Total number also very important, you have to remember. Then followed by table number 1 for wildlife sanctuaries. Only read the tables, don't read anything. Second one is the national parks. Third one is the biosphere reserve. Fourth one is the wetlands. And fifth one will be the mangroves. And the sixth one will be the coral reef. That's all. So if you remember these 6 tables, how many marks are in your hand? 2 to 3 questions compulsory, undoubtedly you can expect from this particular thing. Okay, this is what mentioned in our syllabus. Under which category? Under the category of strategies for conservation. How many marks you're going to get? 2 to 3 marks. Friends, there is a chance you can get more than 2 to 3 questions also. So that is the PDF. You no need to read anything else. We have designed exactly according to that. Now I have mentioned most commonly asked PYQs and most commonly asked questions from this entire in situ conservation. Done. It's over. Now what is there in our syllabus? Every one of you focus. Strategies for conservation. Here we studied in situ conservation. Now they have given ex situ conservation. You know, friends, most of the time they can ask the question. What question they will ask? All of the following are comes under the in situ conservation except, means which comes under in situ, which comes under ex situ. Okay, once again, see how much amount of information to be remembered here. Here, if you expect 2 to 3 questions, here you can expect 3 to 4 questions. From where? Exitive conservation. All the students listen to me correctly. When you are reading the exitive conservation, first what to read? First, focus on all these organizations. BSI, NBPGR, ICAR, DBT, CSIR. How to read this? It is also very difficult to remember because all are the organizations. It's very difficult to remember. So what you have to remember here also, all of you listen. First of all, first, whichever I have mentioned, you please remember. These are all the some of the famous international and national research centers and botanical gardens. How many I have mentioned? CIAT, ICRAD, ICRISAT, IRI, CITES, NBRI, BSI, IARI, FRI. These 10 are the name of the famous international and national organization. What you have to remember? Name of the 10 organization and which country they are situated. I only mentioned it. You don't need to do anything. You have to by heart. The 10 centers and which country they are located over. Then listen, first before reading this, first we will directly read about the organizations. So remember friends, in your syllabus what they have mentioned number 1, Botanical Survey of India, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources 2, CSIR 3, ICAR 4, DBT 5. So 5 organizations they have given. Now it is very difficult to remember the entire information here. How to remember this? All the students listen. It's very easy to remember. First, what is Department of Biotechnology? Remember, every student remember. Which year the Department of Biotechnology is started? Anyway, I have mentioned the entire information. And most important, who is the current director? Because from here only you will get the question. Remember, all of you, please don't confuse and don't forget. When the Department of Biotechnology is started, which year they started, who is the current director, and last and final one, where the main branch is located, and the fifth one, their functions. So for every organization, you have to read these things. Name of the organization, year of establishment, who is the current director, branches, then functions. So I have mentioned everything very clearly. No need to read everything. So which year? Example, it is established under the 1986. Who is the current director? And remember, what are their functions? That's all. And which branches? Which branches? See, why I kept all this information to make you understand correctly. See, but you have to remember what are their branches, that's all. See, biotechnology will be involved in the infrastructure also, involved in the preparation of vaccines, involved in the preparation of immunodiagnostics. That's all. Remember only the branches. No need to read and remember anything extra. Then next, CSIR. What is a CSIR? When the CSIR is established, it is under which which sector? It is under the Indian Ministry of Science and Technology, right? Now, what are the various laboratories under the CSIR? Because friends, from here you will 100% get the question. It is very difficult to remember all. You know, suppose since you are in Telangana, you have to mandatorily remember, mandatorily. Is there any Department of Biotechnology sub-branch is present in the Hyderabad or not? Sorry, in Telangana or not? In Telangana, mostly they are present in the Hyderabad only. Suppose example, same with the CSIR also. So what is CSIR? What are the major labs of CSIR? If you look into our Hyderabad, you all people know that you are having CCMB, Center for Cellular Molecular Biology, located in the Hyderabad. You know very well, in the Hyderabad, you are having IICT, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. That is also comes under the CSIR only. So you have to compulsory remember. And you also know that Pilani is there, Bits Pilani. That also comes under the CSR. I have mentioned it. I have mentioned. Here there is no point of reading anything. You have to by heart. I don't know what you do. You have to do this compulsory. And it is easy to remember also. Trust my words blindly. Undoubtedly, you will get the question. Undoubtedly. Next, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Research. Once again, what is this? Where the headquarters are, it is established, which year it is established, what are their functions and their branches. This is what you have to read and remember in the ex-situ conservation. So is there any point of using your brain? There is no point of using your brain anywhere. You have to just remember the branches, remember the year of establishment. If you make a notes on a small paper also, that is fine. Suppose example, you can make the notes like this. But there's no point of making the notes. I made it everything. So just name of the organization, which year they established, who is the current director, what are their functions. Enough. And branches. If you can remember, that is good. If you can't make the notes, no problem. Just take the printout of the notes. Later, apart from this, what they have mentioned here, listen. In the ex-situ conservation, in the in-situ conservation, you have studied all this. In the ex-situ conservation, they are just asking their principles and practices of botanical garden, field gene banks, seed banks, and cryo banks. These four they have asked. So once again, when you are reading this, what you have to read, friends? So an example, what is field gene bank? See, remember, no need to read anything extra. What is field gene bank? What is their function? And most importantly, what kind of species, what kind of plant species can be conserved in the field gene bank? That's all. I have specially mentioned. Nothing, only you have to remember this. Nothing else. What are seed banks? And examples of the seed banks, nothing else. Then Botanical Survey of India, right? So what is Botanical Survey of India? Where their branches are located, their functions, nothing else. So what I'm trying to explain you is, in case of a strategies for conservation, in situ conservation and ex situ conservation, average you are expecting 7 questions only from here. More than that. But you no need to use any brain here. You have to remember a lot of information. That's why when I provide you the study material, you take the entire printout. Please don't read. If you read, trust me, you forget next day only. So what you do is, see, this is the best way. See, when I am preparing, when I find a lot of tables, I always paste it on the wall. By that, I never forget, because I will always visualize. I always look it. So hardly in situ and ex situ conservation, there are 10 tables are there. If you by heart the 10 tables, 7 questions are in your hand. So I am requesting all of you, everyone, every single day, or at least every alternate day, keep on posting the questions from all this. Okay, so Asia, I am just giving you a small work. Please do it. I will assign this work some to other also. Just listen my words. What you do is, whatever the national parks are there, just only do this. National park. One second, it's loading. Yeah. National park, sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, and what will be the another one? And what is that? Wetland, right? Yeah, wetland and mangrove. Okay, you don't need to do anything. Just listen my words very correctly. So you just download TSPSC 2014, 2015 and previous year papers. Along with the TSPSC, do the APPSC also. See, hardly it will take 1 hour of time. That's all. What you do is, just listen. From the national park, sanctuaries, from these five: biosphere reserves, wetlands, and mangroves. What are the number of questions that have been asked in the TSPSC and APPSC? Just post all those questions in the group. Okay, don't just copy paste it. Type the question and send it. Every day you send one question enough. Okay. Meanwhile, what every student has to remember, trust me, if you keep on reading, you are wasting your time all the time. What you do is you take the printout of the 6 to 7 tables whichever I mentioned in the study material, and keep visualizing that. And every single day, suppose there are 10 national parks are there, so ASIA keep on asking the questions from the national parks, sanctuaries, biosphere reserve till the next 30 or 40 days, every alternate day. By that, no one will forget that. So in this way you people do it. Okay, so Mahipal Reddy, you do the small work. So remember, what you do is the organizations like a DBT, NBPGR, ICAR, CSIR, IARI. So whichever I have mentioned in the study material, you no need to do anything. Whatever the questions that have been asked in the APPSC and TSPSC, just to post that questions in the group. Don't don't post the pictures. Type the question and send. By that, everyone can answer that question. Keep on asking the questions. Whenever I keep the exams, I automatically conduct the exam. So, but keep on posting that. By that, everyone can remember. The best method of remembering all these is, there is only one method. What is that one method? Frequently you have to remember. Frequently. If you read only one day, trust me, third day you will forget. But when you keep on recalling this concept just for the period of 10 minutes also, you can easily remember. So we have clearly covered strategies for in situ, strategies for the ex situ. It is done. Now listen, what is there in the third here? Role of plants in medicine. What they are asking in the syllabus, they have very clearly mentioned what is the morphology, active principles, and medicinal value. So your luck is that they have not mentioned all. They have very clearly mentioned only this 4 plants. So now what you have to do it? So once again, when you download the study material, we have clearly mentioned, I just made a simple table based on the questions asked. See here, we just directly made the table. Name of the medicinal plant, they have given only 4. Andrographis, you have to compulsory, mandatorily, you have to remember the scientific names, right? See, they have just given Andrographis, which is originally called as Kalmeg. So asparagus, originally called Shatavari. Philanthus, originally called Buhi Amla. And Gymnia, originally called as Madhunashini. What is the question you can expect in the exam? 99.99% you will get the question here. Which is the active principle? What do you mean by that? Which is the active principle and what is the use? 99% you can expect in the matching question, or you can expect in the what we can say that in the direct statement related also. Suppose you see the Kalmeg. In the Kalmeg, which is the most medicinally useful part herb? So this is the question you can get directly. And 90% you can get the question from the uses. So this Kalmeg used in what kind of diseases? Only these things you have to remember. If you can remember the see, while remembering the morphology, majorly has to focus on family. So friends, luckiest part, remember the name of the plant, which family it belongs to, which active part is useful, and what is their use. Nothing else to remember. Only 4 are there. Okay. So I am requesting every single day, spend 1 or 2 minutes. That's all, only 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. Read all the 4. By that, you people never ever forget. Very easily, very easy this one. Then next, what they have mentioned in the syllabus, see here, next they have mentioned important firewood and timber. And here also they have very specially mentioned in the syllabus non-wood forest products, such as here also they mentioned, right, bamboos, rattans, and which raw materials are required for making gums, tannins, dyes, resins, and fruits. Very specifically, they have mentioned. So we made a perfect material. So now what you have to do is you have to read the table once again. See here, what you have to do. Don't read everything. If you read everything, you are wasting your time. Once again, I'm telling you. What you have to remember, suppose, what are non-wood forest products first of all? What are bamboos? What are bamboos? Listen, every one of you, most important one. What are bamboos? Widely used bamboos. This is important for the exam. Please don't forget. I have already mentioned which are widely used. I have mentioned. You have to remember that, followed by uses. Nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. What are bamboos? What are the major types? Their uses. I mentioned everything. You have to read, that's all. Then, what are tannins and dyes? Widely used tannins and widely used dyes and their use. What are dyes? Widely used dyes. What are gums and resins? Their uses and widely used. Okay. So Rajini, I want you to do this compulsory. Okay. So what I want you to do is same, go to the APPSC and TSPSC. The last at least do it 5 question paper. If anyone did not find out the question paper, let me know. I will provide. What you have to do is you have to every alternate day keep posting the same questions which has come from this. Okay, by that people can remember easily. Everyone share the work in this particular chapter because it's very easy to understand. Please don't focus on reading, focus on remembering. Then next one, in the unit in the first subunit, what they have given: origin, evolution, botany, cultivation, and uses of. Here they did not given any plant. They did not mention any plant name at all, not even one plant also. They directly asked some of food and fodder crops, some of fiber crops, medicinal and aromatic plant, and vegetable oil yielding. They have not mentioned which also. So then how to read that? So based on the questions asked in the previous year paper, so we have made most important ones. See, always read in the form of tables. It will save a lot and lot of time. So name of the plant, from which country, which is what I mean to say that, which family, the cultivation method. 99% what you get in the exam is uses. Simple. So based on the questions asked in the APPSC and TSPSC and most important plants. So I have mentioned 10 medicinal plants starting with Isbagal, Senna, Aloe, Aswagandha, Brahmi, Madhunashini, Amla, Ashoka, Sarpagandh, Tulsi. These 10 are widely asked aromatic and medicinal plants. What you have to read, friends? First, name of the plant, which country. Remember, every one of you. Name of the plant, which country, family. If you can read the cultivation, read the cultivation. There is no great importance of the cultivation. But may or not, they may not ask the question. But most important is uses. Uses is more important among all. And never ever forget the scientific name. Then followed by fiber crops. In the fiber crops, widely asked is the Gossypium, Cocos, Crotalaria, and what is this? Jute. Then followed by the cannabis. These 5 are asked most widely and most important. So once again, I want you to remember which country, family, uses. Then followed by fodder crops. These 4 I want every one of you to read. Oat, sorghum, maize, pearl, millet. All are belongs to what pathway? C4 pathway. All are belongs to what? Grasses. All are belongs to the same family only. Easy to remember also. You have to remember the uses. So morally, what I want you to do is, so from all these, from aromatic medicinal plants, food and fodder crops, then followed by the, what we can say that, this one. Yeah, food and fodder crops and oils. From these, what the questions asked in the previous exam, you please keep posting the same questions. So what is your job? So once you take the study material, all the students remember. So throughout the syllabus, you will hardly get a 10 to 12 charts. That's all. So in the entire syllabus which we have mentioned here, see here in the ex situ conservation, in situ conservation, importance of firewood and timber, role of plants in medicine. In all these, you will get hardly 10 to 12 charts every single day. Trust me, if you don't read, there is no point of providing the study material to all of you. Read 20 minutes, that 12 charts, 20 minutes. And whomever posting the question every alternate day, please keep solving the questions. By that, you can remember it for very long period of time. That is the only best method to read this particular chapter. So it ends that particular chapter. So we have covered A to Z in the study material very precisely. Whatever comes in the exam, whatever is required, I have covered everything. Okay. So this is how you have to read the unit 5. So just be patient. I will explain very quickly about the other. I think Asya, are you there? Please, can you do the work? I want every one of you to share the work. By that, you people can help others. And that is the best way of reading also. Because once you keep on asking the question from the same topic, you can remember it for the long period of time. Okay. Of course, I will assign the work to all the people. Because unit 5 is one of the major unit where every student has to remember entire information. Okay. Requesting all of you not to share with anyone. Okay, there is this. Now let's study. We have study material is done for almost all units. Now for unit 10, what is there in the syllabus? How to study this? Again, we will go according to the syllabus. I will provide you the study material. You look into this. First one, the major one. How many number of questions we can expect? Please be calm and listen. Right now, unit 4 we have studied, sorry, unit 5 we studied. What is unit 5? Everything to be understand. What about the unit 10? 70% it is pure conceptual. And what about the remaining 30%? Remaining 30% you have to remember, remaining 70% it is conceptual, right? So among entire syllabus, we will study everything. Which is the major one where you can expect the more conceptual questions? Undoubtedly from the rDNA technology. Out of 10 to 15 questions from this particular part, you can expect very easily 4 to 6 questions from the rDNA technology. So how to read the rDNA technology? So listen. So once you start reading the rDNA technology, we mentioned crystal clear material. Listen, what to study? And remember, most important thing, for every chapter, my PPT and my lesson is important. So second only study material will come. So first focus on the lessons correctly. So what you have to start, friends, when you are reading the rDNA technology, all the students remember my words. You have to remember years compulsory. You have to remember name of the scientist compulsory, because at least one or two question, at least one question, at least one you can expect from the scientist also. So you no need to worry. I have mentioned every scientist and every function performed by them. So you people has to do only that thing. So first, whenever you are reading, first you have to read all the enzymes involved in the rDNA technology. I only mentioned everything. What kind of enzymes, what kind of recognition site that they are going to cleave, because we have studied very clearly what are the 3 different type of the restriction endonuclease enzymes, what site they are actually cutting. Later, all the questions are mentioned. No need to worry about that. Then majorly focus on the vectors. All the vectors you have to read. Whenever you are reading this particular unit, what you have to do first? You have to keep the PPT with you. You read the whatever the information that is present in the PPT, that information only I want you people to read very elaboratively here. You are having more than 300 to 500 questions for every single chapter. So I want you to read whatever present in this material only, including with the questions. No need to study even a single point also extra in this particular rDNA technology, where it is a straightforward concept. And which are not straightforward concept, now let's see. So this we understood, which is a very straightforward one. All questions are very direct, all questions from the concept. Now you look into this, which is the rigid concept. These are all very rigid concept. You have to remember the subject also. You have to remember the, you have to remember as well as you have to understand. Plant biotechnology, plant tissue culture, organogenesis, applications of plant tissue culture. Among these four, from where you can expect more number of questions. From organogenesis and applications, you can easily get 3 to 5 questions only from these two subtopics. That is applications and organogenesis. How to read this? So once again, so I just made a precise study material. You have to follow that only. Don't read anything extra. And whenever you are reading something, what you have to do? You have to keep the PPT with you. Whatever I'm saying, you have to read exactly that. Don't go beyond that, even a single point also. What you have to do is first, they have given, the scope of biotechnology and Indian advantage. It's not required. For your knowledge, you have to just read once. Just read once. Means what is the benefit of the biotechnology in India? That's all. Then all the students listen. So when you started studying about the tissue culture, I will tell you what to study. Always remember. First, you have to study. Remember, what is plant tissue culture? Whichever I am writing, never forget. First thing you have to study, name of the scientist. Okay. Who started the experiments on the tissue culture? That is the first thing you have to study. Then, what is cellular differentiation and what is totipotency? Here also don't read anything extra except the definition. That is only required. Not required anything extra. What is the totipotency definition? What is the cellular differentiation definition? Then the most important one, what are the plant tissue culture mediums? Which means, remember everyone, what are the inorganic medium we are using? What is the organic medium we are using? What are the growth regulators we are using? I have mentioned very clearly. These are all the inorganic, these are all the organic, these are all the growth regulator. Don't read anything. Suppose if you're reading the growth regulator, they can ask a direct question in the exam. Which of the following plant hormones are widely used in the tissue culture? Auxin will use, cytokinin will use, gibberellic acid will use. So now what you have to do? Suppose this is very important in the matching question also. So what are the inorganic? Calcium, phosphate, magnesium, nitrogen, sulfur. What are their uses? Nothing else is required. And what are organic? This is more important. Charcoal, antibiotics. This is very important organic substances. What are their uses? Then what hormones we are using? Over. That's all. That's all. Don't read anything in the plant tissue culture. I am re-explaining to all of you not to get confused with that. When you started reading the study material, just for 10 minutes, read what is the scope of biotechnology in India, just for your understanding. Then read the definition and all the scientists who did the experiment with respect to the plant tissue culture. I have mentioned everything. Only read the name of the scientist. Then read the definition of cellular differentiation and totipotency. Then try to understand what are the inorganic, organic, and plant growth regulators we are using in the culture media. Over. Don't read anything else. You are going to get the questions from that only. Then, most important, undoubtedly, you are going to get the question is organogenesis and adventives embryogenesis. What you have to read here? First thing, definitions, because in your previous year papers also there are a lot of definitions were given. Means, what is the process of shoot formation, what is the process of root formation. See, shoot formation we can call calogenesis, root formation we can call rhizogenesis, organogenesis is the complete formation of the adventitious organs. So you have to remember these definitions in the callus culture. Whenever I am explaining you the lesson, then automatic, see, I am telling you, when without me teaching, if you read the study material, you feel difficulty. When I teach, when you read, it becomes super easy to all of you. So that's why my lesson is more important than anything else. Listen the lesson, read the information, it becomes super easy to all of you. Same thing. What is somatic embryogenesis? Most important, what are the types of somatic embryogenesis? Direct somatic embryogenesis, indirect somatic embryogenesis, and most importantly for the exam, the factors affecting the somatic embryogenesis. How the auxin will affect the process, how cytokinin will affect the process, how nitrogen affect the process. That's all. Over. No need to read anything. And many times, which is asked in the previous year TSPSC and APPSC, is protoplast formation. This is also asked many number of times. So you have to read what is naked plant cell, how the protoplast fusion will occur, and most importantly, what is the method of isolation. That is very important. Which techniques we are using, what enzymes used for the protoplast fusion, which is very important. Once again, you can expect the matching question in the APPSC exam. Previously, this is the direct question asked from the enzyme used in the protoplast fusion. Then you no need to worry about that. I have mentioned everything in the form of a pictures. When I am explaining you the process, it becomes super easy to all of you. Read, understand the lesson, what I am teaching. Just read the entire preparatory method for the isolation of the protoplast. That's all you have to remember here. Then I told you, right, where the maximum number of questions are coming from the applications. So I don't see, I will teach you in the PPT very nicely. After once I teach, if you read this, it becomes very easy, you never forget. But once I teach, if you don't read the study material, it's waste of my teaching. So you have to read compulsory, then you automatically understand. So just to read the applications of plant tissue culture, then very important for the exam, production of secondary metabolites. Blindly believe that you are going to get minimum one question, maximum two questions. Blindly you are going to get the questions from secondary metabolites, undoubtedly. So this is also very difficult to read and remember. What you have to do, see here, these are all the different type of secondary metabolites present in the plant: alkaloid, amines, phenols, steroids, isoprenoid, polyisoprenes. How you remember? This is also very difficult. So I have made everything in the form of a table. If you by heart this table, enough. Most important nitrogen containing, most important sulfur containing, right? And most important phenol containing. I want you people to remember compulsory, especially for the exam. You have to remember uses, because you are going to get the question only from the uses. Never ever miss the secondary metabolites. It's a very, very, very important. So listen once again, not to confuse friends. Whenever you are reading the applications of the plant tissue culture, first focus on the production of secondary metabolites. Then give the importance to germplasm storage. This is also very important. You will get a direct question. What question you will get? What is in situ and ex situ methodology in the germplasm? What we do in the in situ methodology, what we do in the ex situ methodology. Very direct, very straightforward question, you will get it. And once again, the question which is continuously asking in the exam is the cryopreservation technique. What question they will ask you? Which of the following technique is used, or which of the following technique will always require the frozen temperature? Example, Or which of the following technique will use solid carbon dioxide? Which of the following technique always used liquid nitrogen? So in this way, they will ask and asked questions in the previous paper. So you have to remember only that. Then just now I told you there is a no question paper without the question from secondary metabolites. I told you. Similarly, there is a no question paper without the question from the gene transfer. Undoubtedly, there is no doubt you are going to get the question from gene transfer. From where you are going to get the question? There are two type of gene transfer: direct gene and indirect gene. 99% of the cases you have to focus on microinjection, electroporation. Apart from this, where you are going to get the question undoubtedly is Agrobacterium tumefaciens. You can expect 1 to 2 questions only from Agrobacterium only. That much important Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So I have mentioned very clearly what is TI plasmid, what are the components of the TI plasmid, and what are their function. Most importantly, the genes. Function of Vir A, B, C, D, E2. You have to read all the gene function. All the gene function and what are the active parts of the plasmid and what are their function. Trust me blindly, in the application of tissue culture, give the importance to agrobacterium mediated transformation, then followed by cryopreservation, followed by the plant secondary metabolite applications of tissue culture. These four are very important in this particular concept. So I have covered each and everything in the notes. You people no need to read anything extra, anything. I have covered everything here. I have covered entire genetic engineering of plants, that is the methods of gene transfer, agrobacterium. I have covered entire applications of plant tissue culture. We have covered entire organogenesis and embryogenesis also I have covered. You no need to touch anything. Keep the PPT, listen the lesson and read the study material once or twice. Automatically you can easily answer any question from this. Okay. So now listen. Shanti, I want you to do the complete chapter. Okay. This complete chapter, don't post the questions right now. Once I finish the lesson, then from both TSPSC and APPSC, keep on, see, along with the practice question and along with the test series, I want you to focus on solving the PYQs. I will help you in solving the many practice questions. You people has to solve in PYQs. By that, it will build the confidence to all of you, right? So I hope everyone understand this. Almost all the study material is ready. Only for unit 1, 2, 3, 4, it is going on. Within 3 to 4 days, it will be completely comes to you. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. If every one of you be little patience, I will explain in in 15 minutes how to read the ecology also. Is that fine for everyone? Can I continue this? 15 minutes. I'll explain you briefly. Can we continue? Others. By that, I no need to explain to you next time. Yes. Now all of you listen. Plant ecology. If you ask me one question, sir, in the entire syllabus, of 10 units of botany, from which unit we can expect the more number of questions? I can tell you that, so friends, I told you, right? An average from every chapter, you are going to get 10 to 15 questions, I told you. But if you ask me which chapter you can expect more number of questions in your entire 10 units, I can tell to all of you that plant ecology and cytogenetics. These two are the units where you can expect the maximum number of questions. You don't believe how important plant ecology is, because in your botany syllabus, unit 5 and 6 belongs to ecology only. So, but trust me blindly how important ecology is. even in the previously, I mean to say 2 days back, CSR net exam is over and your set exam is over. Most of the questions has come from what? Ecology only. So that's why you people should not leave the chapter of ecology under any circumstances. So now in your syllabus, what not? They have mentioned everything in the syllabus. We should not leave even a small concept also. And I don't encourage any one of you to leave anything in the ecology. Whatever I am helping you in the notes, if you read that, that's more than sufficient. So the entire chapter of ecology, according to our syllabus, it is categorized into ecosystem, organism and population, biodiversity and conservation, environmental issues. So it is divided into the 4 subparts. And trust me, friends, unit 5, unit 6, unit 1, unit 1, unit 5, unit 6, then unit 9, plant physiology. I want at least you people to solve at least 600 to 700 questions from one particular chapter. Then only you can score maximum. So you people no need to worry. We designed the this particular notes in such a way that if you read it, you see, I'm blindly telling you every single question will come from what you are going to read. And in your last APPSC and TSPSC, compulsory, they're asking the question from name of the scientist and their contribution. So that's what in the entire ecology, I have mentioned all the scientists in every PDF. So I want you to read entire what we can call all the type of scientists and their contributions. Then when you are reading the ecosystem, when you start reading the ecology chapter, how to read ecology, the moment you start reading the ecology, first of all the students has to read what are biotic components, their examples. What are abiotic components, their examples. Then see, because ecosystem is made up of, I have explained it in the lesson very briefly, the ecosystem made up of biotic components, ecosystem made up of abiotic components. You have to read what are biotic and what are abiotic functions of the ecosystem. The question asked in the exam, which of the following is not the major function of the ecosystem? Right. And undoubtedly, you are going to get the question from where? Productivity. We have discussed, right? Primary productivity, secondary productivity, gross productivity, net productivity. All you have to read. For everything we have mentioned many number of questions. After reading the ecosystem, you have to read an food chain. I have explained everything. When I'm teaching you, it will become very easy. You can remember very fastly. You have to remember food chain. You have to remember the food web. Then the most important, undoubtedly, where you are going to get the question is the pyramid. You have to read the pyramid. Okay. So then followed by carbon cycle. Which are the cycles I am explaining you? Read only those. Focus on the carbon. If you can read the oxygen cycle, leave it. Carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus cycle. Only read these 3 cycles majorly. Carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus cycle. So once you finish this, the most important concept, very important, undoubtedly you can get the question is ecological succession. You can expect the matching question from here also. What are the type of succession that are taking place in a different parts? And suppose what is the succession on the dry region? Many times asked questions. What is the succession that is happening in the salty water? In the lesson I have explained you, right? The process of succession, how it is happening. In your set question paper also, this is the direct question asked in the exam, right? So you have to read the process of succession. And which is more important, which is more difficult? This is more difficult because the succession which is taking place in the water is called hydrosphere. There are many stages we have studied previously. You have to remember all the stages with example. Same lithosphere with all the stages example. After that, I really don't know what you do. You don't read, you don't do even one question also extra apart from this. Because every chapter, when you are writing the chapter wise test series, I will cover 150 questions over there in your chapter wise test series. Here you are having exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3, exercise 4, and I only mentioned most of the APPS and TSPSC questions here only, right? And I only mentioned the questions which are coming from the NCERT and Telugu Academy based. So no need to practice one question also extra. Only practice the questions which are present here. And second thing, whichever the chapter wise test we are going to conduct, then in the YouTube I will make everyday questions, right? 30 to 40 those questions. Don't read anything else. So this is what ecosystem starting only. See, imagine how big ecosystem is. Then next, you have to study the organism and population. Undoubtedly, if you get a numerical question, if you get a graphical question, you are going to get the question from the population ecology, either numerical or graphical. See, first, I have explained in the lessons very easily. When you start the population, first, focus on the parameters of population. Population density. I don't know whether you remember or not. We have solved a method called as mark recapture method, where you can get the numerical question. Very important one. Then age pyramids. Age pyramids is one of the question which is widely asked. And I have explained in the lesson. Anyway, once again, we are discussing the entire chapter. Focus on that. And if you get the numerical question, we are going to get from the growth curves. That is the exponential growth curve, logistic growth curve. In the below, I have mentioned all the MCQs which will ask from the numerical part from this growth curve. And you blindly just believe that you are going to get the question. From where? From the interactions. Competition, amensolism, parasitism, predation, commensalism, proto-cooperation, mutualism. What you have to remember first? You have to remember the symbols. And listen to me very correctly. Here, why this question is very difficult? The question is very difficult because you have to read multiple examples. So you no need to struggle for this. For everything, for every interaction, I have kept plant examples also, animal examples also, bacterial examples also. For every interaction, I have kept more than 3 to 4 examples. If you read that example, more than sufficient. So how to read? What is competition? In the competition, both species are getting affected. And examples, nothing else. 3 to 4 examples are minimum for every kind of interaction. So total 7 interactions are there. 7 into 3 or 7 into 4. Minimum 3 to 4 examples you have to remember. After that, solve all the questions. See, for your understanding in the ecology, plant physiology, cell biology, unit 1, unit 4, what we have done, we kept an important definition in most of the chapters, which are theory based chapters. I always encourage all of you to read the definitions correctly, because most of the questions directly comes from there, which is very important. Never skip it. After that, do the exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3. Exercise 3 is the little moderate question, little difficult type of questions. Then followed by the PYQs of the APPSC and TSPSC and other exams also we kept. Then followed by the Telugu Academy based questions. This you have to do this. Then what is the next subunit of the ecology? See, imagine how big it is. Environmental issues. 90% of the cases, 90%. What pollution I want you to focus on? I want you to focus on air pollution, water pollution. These two are more important. And trust me, 99% you are going to get the questions from gases. So what to study? See here, I have very clearly mentioned what are the type of pollutants and what kind of pollution they are causing. So this is important for the exam, where you are going to get the matching questions. During the last revision time, you don't need to read the entire topic. You read only the tables which we have done. So air pollution, only read, listen, when you are reading the air pollution, read only gases. Read only gases, their effects. Don't read anything at all. Don't read anything extra. Same. What happens because of the air pollution? You have to read only effects. Don't see whichever I am saying, only focus on that. Because of the air pollution, it causes acid rain. It causes photochemical smog and it causes greenhouse effect. So you have to read what gases will cause the acid rain, what gases is contribute for the photochemical smog, same for the greenhouse effect. Don't read anything extra. Same. Whenever you are reading the water pollution, majorly you have to focus on BOD and COD, biochemical oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand. In the water pollution, if they ask you the question, there is a no doubt you are going to get the question from BOD and COD only. There is a no point of asking the question from anywhere. And which is the question widely asked in the pollution, very widely asked. That is the eutrophication. I have explained you in the lessons. Once again, I'll explain you briefly. Eutrophication is the most important concept I want you to read. But in the syllabus, they have mentioned the thermal pollution as well as the soil pollution also. Since it is mentioned in the syllabus, I have kept the soil pollution as well. If you want to read the soil pollution, read it. Otherwise, focus on the air and water pollution majorly. Then very important, very specifically asked in the exam in your syllabus is greenhouse gases. Very specifically they have asked. So I am very specifically they mentioned greenhouse gases. Very specifically they mentioned ozone depletion. So I have mentioned all the ozone depleting chemicals, and most importantly, what happens once the ozone got depleted. Then after that, most importantly, I want you to remember the definitions of most important ones, followed by solve exercise 1, 2, 3, 4, then followed by Telugu Academy based questions as well. This is how you have to read the ecology. Once again, I am telling you, you have to read minimum 500 to 1000 questions from these chapters. Then the last and final one, biodiversity and conservation. This is linked with our unit 5. In the unit 5, we are having what? National park, biosphere reserves, tiger zones. Here also it is there. When you are reading the biodiversity, first, see why I am explaining you is whenever you start reading, watch this video and read. Then you will understand what to read. When you start reading the biodiversity, first thing you have to read, what is levels of biodiversity. Very most of the time asked question. Genetic, I have explained it in the exam also in the lesson. Genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Very important. And many times asked question, you know, alpha diversity, beta diversity, gamma diversity. This is the question most of the time asked. And it is the question asked in the set exam as well. Then friends, after that, if you want to read this, you read this. Otherwise, you leave this. What is this concept is? To explain the biodiversity, we have a mathematical models. You remember, to explain the population growth rate, we have the logistic model. Similarly, friends, in order to explain this, we have a mathematical model. In the NEET level and in the AIMS level, there is a question asked only one time. But in the NET level, they use it to ask many times. Since it's our PG syllabus, whenever I explain you the lesson, then you try to read this. If you can't understand, if you're unable to do the numerical from this particular biodiversity part, leave it. No problem at all. It's not greatly important, but I don't encourage you to leave also. Then after this, the most important friends, as I already told you, you are going to get most of the questions from the organizations, which is the IUCN. Every APPSC and TSPSC, most of the time the questions comes from the IUCN. Okay, see here, whichever I have mentioned, I don't know what you do. Whichever are there in the tables, you have to read them compulsory. Compulsory you have to read. Some of the drugs and their applications. See, when I explain you the lesson, it becomes easy. And in the last time also I have explained you, right? The red list category. extinct, extinct in the wild, critically endangered, endangered, vulnerable, lower risk, data deficient, not evaluated. So friends, you have to remember maximum amount of example. Here very few examples are there and extra examples that I will provide in the PPT when I am teaching. Blindly believe me, this question asked in the 2 days back net question paper also. This question asked in the last month NEET exam also. For every exam, this is very important. The list of animals protected, I will show you. Now anyway, biodiversity conservation we have covered in the unit 5. If you cannot read here, you can read in that particular unit 5 also, because the information is same. But in the unit 5, the questions were not there, questions were here. For the entire in situ conservation and entire ex situ conservation in the unit 5, whatever I have shown, all the questions are here. So I want you to make use of that particular questions compulsory, mandatorily. This kind of questions are very, 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 very common. Very common. Name of the organism or name of the animal and in which park it is protected. That's an extremely important one. Trust me, you are gonna get that kind of questions. Followed by the Telugu Academy based questions. This is ecology. And if you read the study material, this is more than sufficient. Okay. So right now I have explained you the all are done. I will explain slowly chapter by chapter. So in the evening, we will continue the class. Once again, by Monday, I will explain you remaining chapters, how to read. I will explain 10 units. If you just strictly follow that, that's more than sufficient. And the last and final thing, if you share the study material, you are cheating yourself only. Okay, you're not cheating any one of us. See, hardly it has taken for us 20 days to prepare the entire high quality study material. 20 days. But if you share the information, you are losing yourself. See, why I am continuously saying is because this is a competitive exam. Okay. In the competition, most of the teachers know very well. Last time also, most of the people lost in 1 mark. Most of the people lose in 2 marks. So that 1 mark or 2 mark only very crucial to all of you. So don't share the information to anyone. And once again, I am telling you, first is a lesson. Second one is study material and PPT. So I used to observe some students, they will only read the study material and practice the question. If you have a wonderful knowledge on the subject, then you do this. There is no problem. If you don't have a knowledge on the subject, don't read this and don't practice. First learn the subject, then practice it. Okay. Now the last and final question, tell me how to send this study material to all of you. If I upload in the app, most of the people are getting super confusion to download it. So can I do one thing to all of you? I'm not very sure whether it comes to the WhatsApp or not. Okay. So what I do is, suppose example, I will send chapter wise to all of you. Suppose example, there is a plant physiology chapter. What I do is, all the study material of the plant physiology, I will send at once in the form of 6 to 7 PDFs. You can take the direct printout to your WhatsApp only. You want me to send it to the WhatsApp or mails? Whichever is convenient to all of you, I will send in that particular way. I think chapter wise I can send it. I can't send everything at a time. I can send it chapter wise. By that you can easily download. Okay. Clear everyone? Please don't share the information and make use of it. And let me know how you need the study material. I will send it in that particular way. Either in the WhatsApp or via mails. Okay. Okay. WhatsApp. We'll see it. We'll see it. Okay. Perfect. On the Monday or Tuesday, once all the study material get over, maximum by Tuesday, I will send all the 10 units to all of you. Okay. Please don't don't give to anyone and just keep reading that. Okay. And you have botany people are having 90 days of time. If you read the 90 days very thoroughly, very, very thoroughly, trust me, you can crack the exam very, very easily. Okay. Now your success is in your hand. Okay. I will provide you the study material to the people who already paid the fees by Tuesday. By Tuesday, all will get down, all will be completed. I will send it as it is. See, all are according to the syllabus. We have not missed even a 0.5% of the concept also. All are covered. So just read that thoroughly. Okay. Okay, friends. That's all for now. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate all of you. Okay. So I will see you in the evening 5 p.m. class. Okay. Please read accordingly. I will share all the material. Okay. Okay. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.